Hey everybody, you're looking live at a hotel room in New Orleans, Louisiana with a curtain behind me. Somewhere back there is a closet. Might have clothes hanging in there, may not. Either way, hope you're doing well. Welcome to humid. Like, it's hard to believe that there are places in this town that had 2 feet of snow 2 weeks ago. I know that sounds absurd. No, it was only like 8, 9 inches, and New Orleans isn't used to snow. I met somebody last night that said that in their backyard, maybe 25 minutes from here, north of here, that they had 22 inches in the backyard, like 10 in the front yard, and then a drift with the wind, 22 in the backyard. It is muggy. It is like 70 and muggy. Not that anybody cares for a weather report, but it is New Orleans. It is fun. It is a great time. As always, walkable Super Bowl cities are the best by far. Everyone fits them through their clothes, hoofing it from spot to spot. But such is the life. As my old friend Tony Bruno used to say, we are here. We are doing it for you. We're doing it for you, to tell you the stories and give you the sights and sounds and all of that. In all seriousness, I'm happy. I'm quite grateful. If you take out the Super Bowl in Tampa, which I did not go to, the COVID Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl, where everybody at NFL Network had to be in a bubble. Like, literally, you were not allowed to go out and dine publicly. You had to get room service for every meal. I didn't go to that one. No one went to that one other than a handful of people. I don't mind it. This would have been my 25th Super Bowl week of some kind. And Sam Betesh, I am happy to be here among your Eagles faithful, although the fans, as you know, having done this so many times in years past, really don't get here until Friday, right? The corporate, the media, all that stuff is here now. The agents, the other teams, all that stuff. The fans start to file in tomorrow. When, if you go on a hotel tonight, right now, you might find a room at a Holiday Inn Express out by the airport for $3,800.
Well, I remember Jacksonville very well, as you can imagine, and both of us have a lot of stories from Jacksonville, and that was the one that sort of set people on this complaining trail. I mean, again, the media
I'm
is
not complaining.
largely no,
Not
that's
complaining.
what I mean. What I mean is the media, in large part, can be a collection of people who are simply complaining at times, paid to complain, even at times. Levi complaining in the
Levi's
background here.
complaining right now.
Levi
Yeah,
is very much
absolutely.
complaining. But I remember that Jacksonville trip, and I remember the media in particular so upset with the way the city was set up, the hotel rooms, etc., whatnot. Levi, it's going to be okay. We're going to get to you shortly. Bottom line is, New Orleans is a great city. I will argue Vegas, I still think, number one. Vegas for all Super Bowls moving forward.
Vegas is great. Everything has the hotel rooms, which New Orleans has a lot of really cool boutique hotels, and I'm in one of them now. Grateful just to get a room. It is that competitive, and the prices are ridiculous. Excuse me. It's a good Super Bowl city. It's a walkable city, as I said. I had a good time last night. Bounced around a little bit, saw some friends, and then the Kelsey. Travis wasn't there, but Jason and the New Heights people threw a party, which was probably one of the better Super Bowl parties I've been to in a long time. Great friends, and the Super Bowl, Sam, as you know, is really a reconnect with everybody that you ever went to school with or work with or done anything with over the years. People from teams, people from networks, people from college. Everybody is here, and the Kelseys, no Travis, but Jason. Great party last night with a lot of players, obviously, that were there. And it was fun, man. And then Chris Long, our buddy on the Greenlight podcast, former Ram legend Chris Long. He also, won championships after he left St. Louis, championship with the Patriots.
Back to back.
The Eagles as well, back to back. Patriots and Eagles. Chris had a great after party. His Greenlight crew threw an after party. And as you well know, and this, again, first world problem, when you bounce around to all these events, there are a lot of little finger foods. And then you realize I haven't eaten a meal, right? And I'm drinking water. It's not like I'm getting out of control, but you realize, like, oh my God. And I was about to go back to the room at about 12:30, and our boy Chris Brockman from the Rich Eisen show.
Love Brockman, yeah.
Brockman's like, gotta come to Chris's. And I'm like, dude, I gotta go to bed. Like, I'm shaking. I'm so tired. I was famished, but I gotta go to bed. And Chris had said, come by earlier. I'm like, dude, like, I don't like, it's right by the hotel, but and then texted Chris. He's like, yeah, guys. It's like, dude, get over here. So I'm like, okay, I'll do a flyby, say hi. Walked in, and Chris had rented this great place, the Great Lake Crew, and they had a big backyard, and they had, I don't know who these guys were, but they were like pitmaster geniuses, and they had large piles of grilled meats that they kept bringing out. Oh my God, thank you. and I just shoved. You know when you have that midnight 1 a.m. at this point midnight meal.
Oh,
we've all had it. And then like you wake up in the morning and you're like, I feel like I'm a pillar of salt. Like this is Sodom, which is Lot got turned into a pillar. I don't know my Old Testament well enough, or my New for that matter. I mean, and really, since when was like the sequel better than the original, other than Empire Strikes Back and Godfather 2? But I digress. Like I woke up this morning like grateful that I had a full belly, but I was nothing but salt because I just threw down all this grilled meat and chips at 1 a.m. But tip of the cap to Jason and his great party, and tip of the cap to Chris Long and his great party as well. It was great to see people and connect with people. And today is another night. And today is another day. Did Radio Road today, shook some hand, kissed some babies. Did our boy JT the Bricks Raiders stuff. And good times. Everyone wants to know, hey, Andrew, will you trade me Myles Garrett? And I said, I have nothing to do with it. Denzel Ward, David Njoku went around Radio Road today as well. I hung out with Denzel a little bit last night. I think they're both of the same. I don't want to speak for them. They both spoke on camera and they both talked about it. And that is, hey, they would love Myles to stay. At the same time, they get it. Like, they get it. But they want him to stay. And Njoku flat out said, Dave said, I'm going to try to talk him into staying. They came in the same draft class, 2 first-round picks that year in 2017, actually 3, Jabril Peppers being the 3rd. And he said he's going to try to talk him into it. We'll see what happens. Denzel Ward, great to connect with him as well last night. He's back from Fashion Week. We unpacked. Sam, did you see the hour-long Denzel Ward TV show in France? Did I tell you about this?
No, I need to hear all about this.
Okay, so he went to Fashion Week. He had a great yellow leather jacket on. Look at the Mary Kay Cabot video today. He wore the same jacket last night at the party. It's like velvet. Denzel said that he thinks I could pull off Fashion Week. I don't know. I said maybe I could just go and watch. But Denzel was there, and he appeared. It was sent to me. I actually tweeted it. He appeared on a the French NFL show of record. There is such a thing. And they were in the middle of the playoffs, and it's an hour-long studio show. And you can't watch this YouTube leak that Denzel tweeted in the States. It's blocked VPN, international content on YouTube, or international content, but yours truly found a backdoor and watched the entire thing. It's Denzel sitting here at a desk. There's 4 other guys at the desk. Not a single word of English was spoken on the entire show, right? And so the host is like, I don't speak French, highlight. Bonjour, Denzel. He's like, bonjour.
That's pretty good.
Bonjour, right? And then they do the highlight, and then like they talk to the other analysts, and they're all speaking in French over him. Like he's in the middle, it's just like ping pong. And they're speaking French. And then like the host would turn to Denzel and Jaden Daniels, Jaden Daniels, and then you see Denzel nodding, and I confirmed it. He had an IFB in, and there's someone in the control room translating the questions to him in English. It's like
real-time translation, not
real-time translation.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, we played Jaden Daniels in October. He's really good, and I think the Commanders have a chance to win this, and his future is bright. And then they're dubbing it in English, French, real time to the audience, and so like they pull his audio down, and they pull like you had an IFB, and he's like, it was so weird. Like it was all delay. He sat there for an hour as they talked over him, and then every like 5 minutes go Denzel, bonjour, and it was crazy.
That's incredible.
Anyway, yeah,
I can't even imagine what that must be.
We
like.
did it.
And just in regards to New Orleans as a host city, obviously bourbon incredible, the food outstanding, but I'm not sure. I just stand by my point about Las Vegas. I feel like I just feel like that is such a mecca for it. I think the driving maybe a little bit, it's not
don't drive. Don't
right. Exactly. If you're going to walk everywhere, I think Vegas is a good one. I lived in New Orleans. My mom is from there. My parents met at LSU, but I still just think Vegas is amazing. I'm very jealous not to be in New Orleans there. I was at, in fact, the last New Orleans trip I was on, I believe that was Niners-Ravens was the last New Orleans Super Bowl.
I was here for that one. Yep. This is my 3rd one down here. Niners-Ravens, the first before that was Patriots and Patriots and Rams. Yeah.
Which was obviously
and of course,
an epic one.
Yeah, 2003 for Syracuse winning the national championship.
Nice. And I was
with
there
teamwork. blocked that
Yes.
shot.
And I was there for LSU beating Ohio State, actually, which was also in the Superdome. I was there for
Joe
that
Burrow
one.
cigar. Yep.
Yes, exactly. No, they even before that, well before that one. Actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
that one.
I'm talking. Yeah, that might have been either. It wasn't Matt Mock. I think it was Matt
Yeah.
Flynn. Actually, I believe that was
Any
Matt
Matt will
Flynn.
do.
Any
Yeah.
Matt will do in that situation. But
American Ninja Warrior Matt Iceman.
yeah.
Yes.
That also works in this situation. But you're so right that this is lucky to have any opportunity to be a part of what is the epicenter of the sports world. I'm sorry, but the Super Bowl is a conference of sports media, sports entertainment, and sports all together. And it just I'm thrilled that you're there, and obviously all the years that we went. It's unreal.
It is media interviewing media, a lot of it. But it was good. Did the radio road tour as well, I said today. Just bumped into Josh Allen as well. I'm not name dropping. I guess maybe I am. But yeah, it's fun. Good times. Never, ever, 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 ever learn to take these for granted. Like I was talking to the Syracuse kids today, the students from Newhouse who were down here as part of the Newhouse program, and they were doing their radio show down here. I sat down with them. I was like, never take this for granted. Ever. Right? Be grateful to be here.
It's awesome.
Pinch yourself. Absolutely. I think I might stay for the game. Not locked in, but
wow. Wait a second. Wait, that is serious.
I think I might stay for the game.
If you stay for the game, that's an. What was the last game you were at? I know because it's never the guarantee to be there for the week, and then to stay for the game is always a different conversation. What's the last one you were at? I certainly know the last one I was at, but
SoFi. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Okay, of course. Right.
SoFi.
Bengals.
Bengals. Yeah. I had a streak of like 15 in a row at one point.
That's a pretty nice streak.
And then it broke, and then believe it or not, my first one I didn't go. Like I had like 12 in a row, and then I went to NFL Network, and my first one at NFL Network, I didn't go to the game, and I was furious. In retrospect,
wow.
It's actually again the grateful thing. So 2011 season. So January of 12, we are in Indianapolis, Colts Patriots. Right? I'm sorry, Giants Patriots in Indianapolis. Kara Henderson and yours truly were hosting NFL Total Access, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Check your local list.
Kara shout out, yeah.
And our boss at the time was afraid of weather and was insistent that we must leave Sunday morning first thing to be back in time to host TA Monday night after the game. And he was concerned that with bad weather, we wouldn't get out Monday morning. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I finally make it to NFL Network, and I'm not actually going to Super Bowl. Got to go home Sunday morning. And I was so angry. But like in retrospect, Andrew, take a deep breath.
But
that broke the streak.
An ironic twist.
Yeah. There have been a couple others over the years where I had a ticket and significant other or other reasons came home, and I'm like, in retrospect, I should have stayed. Like, what are you going to do? Like, for who, for what? Why are you leaving? But that's a different issue for another time. That's a whole different podcast. It involves therapy. And we'll do that
I can do that for you if you need.
Nope. Anyway, I digress. Let's get to the game real quick. I don't know if I sound repetitive. I've said this on every show, though, I've gone on down here. I'm picking the Chiefs for no logical reason. There is no logic behind my pick. I'm picking the Chiefs, and Sam, this is what I said to you a couple of days ago. Not because many Eagles are sick, including Jalen Carter and Matt Araiza on the Chiefs, not the Eagles, but many people are ill.
There was also, out of practice. Devontae Smith was out for a little bit. Bond. There were a few that were in and out of practice. Sure. Jalen was the most significant. Yeah. And Cam Jurgens is actually still, getting himself together. Gainwell, I had the concussion in the NFC Championship as well. So there's that.
Listen, the Eagles are the better team. I'm going to look into the camera right now and say the Eagles are the bigger, more physical, better football team. Okay? They are. Period. Full stop. I think everyone on Radio Row knows it. I'm going to take the Chiefs only because, to quote the great Mitch Holthus, actually, I'm going to butcher his call. Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, says you could hate the Chiefs, you could be blah, 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 but you can't beat the Chiefs, whatever the heck he says. And right now, no one can. Until somebody proves to me that they can not name Tom Brady, then I don't have the belief and faith that somebody is going to do it. Now, it will happen eventually. Every reign comes to an end. The reign in Kansas City stays in Kansas City. What is it? Reign in Spain stays mostly. You get my point. Eventually, it's going to end. This is not world-class analysis. This is for recreational purposes only. This is not an X's and O breakdown. I'm not talking about the Chiefs wing T and how Vic Fangio has had success against it going back to his high school coaching days in Pennsylvania. Look, we could do a deep breakdown about the amazing X's and O. This Nick Sirianni, I love him. I'll try to take away from him, but I guess I'm about to. Andy Reid versus Vic Fangio here, or as our friend Mark Sessler calls him, Fangio, because he just overpronounces Italian and actually messes up most names. I think it's a bit, actually, but with Mark, I never know. The Andy Reid, Vic Fangio, tete-a-tete, head-to-head is the story of this game. Look, Kellen Moore against Steve Spagnuolo, also significant. Okay, but Andy Reid, Vic Fangio for me, because if Vic Fangio and the Eagles have statistically and impressively on paper and the eye test an amazing defense here, assuming Jalen Carter plays and he's fine, they're the better team. But if Vic Fangio truly shuts them down, which hasn't been done, then the Eagles win this game, and there's some that think it's a blowout. I don't think it's going to happen. Eagles injury report. Hold on, Sam. As we tape this right now, here it is. Okay. Limited, Nick Gates, Brandon Graham.
Sure, right, of course. Which is remarkable that he's even on it.
Right. Full practice. Zach Bond, Jalen Carter, Britton Covey, Landon Dickerson, Kenny Gainwell, Dallas Goedert, Cam Jurgens, CJ Uzama. They were all full practices. So I'm going to take the Chiefs until somebody else beats the Chiefs. I will continue hammering the Chiefs, recreational purposes only. I don't gamble, never bet on a game in my entire life. True story. But yeah, that's it. It makes no sense, but that's it.
Well, again, like you said, not scientific necessarily, and you mentioned it. I know we're not picking the game and the spread doesn't necessarily matter. My dad said something that has really resonated with me. I think I was all in on the three-peat. I told you how conflicted I am, that there's sort of Andy Reid blood that runs through me still. I've rooted for more Andy Reid playoff games than any other coach in any sport for the amount of time that he spent with the Eagles, of course. And so I'm okay. The Chiefs, to me, could have gone 17-0. I've said to many people I know, I need the Chiefs to lose one game a decade. If the Eagles are lucky enough to make it to the Super Bowl, I'd like them to lose that game and that game only. Now it's twice over the course of 3 seasons. That's amazing that the Eagles are back here. I didn't expect that. You could have told me the Chiefs would be back. Of course, I would believe that. But my dad said something. I thought he was just being overly confident. My dad has these weird visions sometimes, and he likes to say that he's a soothsayer and predicts things. But he came to me the other day and he said, Eagles minus 7.5. And I thought, well, what are you even talking about? And we don't really bet on games, but he just said that. And then it made me recognize, all right, is there any truth? Could there be anything reasonable about what he's saying? Is he just going out there and wanting to be confident? And then I thought, you know what? How many times have you and I talked about the one possession game for the Chiefs, right? Mahomes with the ball in his hand at the end of one of these games, that's just not the key to winning it at all. I even watched the 28-3 comeback with Brady the other night, and it just got me thinking about what Mahomes does as well. You know, Brady had that sort of allure that you couldn't put it away. Obviously, Eli did it twice, and of course, I saw Nick Foles and the Eagles do it. But for the most part, Mahomes has captured that magic. We discussed this already. Burrow and Brady are the only two to beat him in the postseason. But when I thought about that minus 7.5, it just got me thinking, look at the Bills game in the regular season that the Chiefs lost this season. Was not a one possession game, and at a chance at 4th and 2, when the Bills could have kicked a field goal and still allowed then Mahomes to have the ball and try to stop them. Instead, McDermott, who says I've seen it too many times, keeps the offense on the field, and not only does Josh Allen convert the first down, he ends up in the end zone, makes it a 2-possession game, and that turns out to be the key to victory. So if you're going to talk yourself into an Eagles victory, I think it's got to be 2 possessions. I just don't see a way where if you get, I mean, we saw it 35, right? You saw it 35-35 2 years ago in a game where both teams are playing well, but guess what? Mahomes was driving with the ball late. Now, granted, if not for a defensive holding, maybe the Eagles get the ball back. Who cares? We're not going to dissect that. All I'm going to say is 1 possession game, Mahomes in this, forget about it. And the blueprint, the Bible for the Eagles should be the game that you weren't, the game and the city that you didn't go to, the Tampa Super Bowl. How many touchdowns did Mahomes throw in that game or even account for? 0, because the Chiefs had 9 points. This Chiefs team, not this one for this year, but these Chiefs had 9 points in a Super Bowl. And yeah, it was against Brady, but it was the defense in that game that made a difference. And this is that number 1 ranked defense. You talked about Fangio. Mahomes is undefeated against Fangio, but look at who his quarterback's been on the other side numerous times. That's simply the key here. That Bucks team absolutely disrupted, and it was an injured Kansas City offensive line, but that was it. That's the bottom. Look at that game plan, that script. That's how you're going to have to beat him. I just don't see if it comes down to one possession. It just feels. I mean, like you said, is there anything scientific to it? Not really. Except again, we've said it many times. They execute better than most teams. They're better coached than most teams. And Andy Reid specifically takes into training camp the idea that we are going to be in close games, late in games, and later in the season. And so his team is better in the fourth quarter than your team more times than not. And that's just what happens. And Saquon, I know we haven't really said it. Can we at least account for the fact that the Eagles played in a game down to the wire with these Chiefs 2 years ago, and now they have Saquon Barkley? I mean, I know it's a much different roster, it's a much different defense, but offensively, Saquon, you can't call him an X factor. That's ridiculous because he's not he's a factor. He's the factor along with Mahomes, but it's really whether or not Spagnuolo shuts. Couldn't that be it? Couldn't it be that if Spag shuts down the running game and Saquon, that's maybe what spells the game more than anything? Because Saquon, not just the regular season, and you and I've seen it. We saw it up close at that Rams game. This has been the story. This certainly the Eagles' story this season has been Saquon. And even throughout the playoffs. Throughout the playoffs, it has been consistently that, Saquon. So you'd have to guess an Eagles victory has to be Saquon running away, much like he did in the NFC Championship. That just feels like what it has to be.
I mean, that's the way they win. They pound the football. Pound the football. They're not going to win this unless they pound the football. Look, Jalen Hurts was phenomenal 2 years ago in Phoenix. He's got to be phenomenal again, but I can't imagine he has the same number of opportunities. They got to run the ball. They got here by doing it. Put it this way, if they get here and then lose because they try to throw 40 times, that's not going to happen. But if that were to happen, imagine the narrative. You go with what got you here, and it's going to be Saquon. This is a short abbreviated pod, like we could have done it at Radio Row, but you can't even walk around. So
I only wanted to say one other thing about Saquon that you just mentioned in regards to that the narrative would be, didn't use and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Again, take into account the Week 18 not playing him, not going for the Dickerson record, right? It's for one goal and one goal only, which is to win. So therefore, it goes to reason. You're using him in this game. You saved him for this game and this moment. And you love the history of it, Andrew. I want to say it here because you've tweeted it and you've said it, but the 3 straight championships, the three-peat.
Been done twice.
Exactly. 3 straight championships has been done. Number 2, the Eagles do have a record here, and Saquon does as well, most likely. The Eagles have already rushed for more yards than any other team in the history of this game in one season. They did it collectively as a team this year, that many yards. And Saquon with 30 yards on Sunday is the most ever
rushing yards,
right? If you include playoffs, surpassing Terrell Davis. So that's just for those that still want to go on that. There is that to be said.
And your point about the Packers. Packers have three-peated twice. They won 3 consecutive NFL championships, 29-31. I say it 100 times. I'll say it 100 times more. Those are NFL championships before the Super Bowl era, but the NFL existed. They awarded a championship in every one of the 105 years that they have played. 46 were called NFL championships. The other 59 now Super Bowls. And the Packers also won three-peat the year before the Super Bowl, 65, and then in 66 and 67, right? With the first 2 Super Bowls, even though at the time they weren't called the Super Bowl kids. Okay. So they had a three-peat there. And the Cleveland Browns won 5 consecutive championships, 46, 47, 48, 49, and 50. They had a 5-peat. People, the first 4, however, were AAFC championships, All-American Football Conference, and then the 1950 NFL championship, their first year in the NFL. They won that one, actually blew people out of the water. So that was a 5-peat. The other 4 weren't NFL. I understand that. However, before you totally dismiss it, and it was not the same league, obviously, there were 8 Hall of Famers on that team, okay, who started their career and won championships in the AAFC and went on to win championships in the NFL. So the Browns have 8 championships, and at one point they had a 5-peat over 2 leagues. And you say, well, wait. Like that doesn't count. That doesn't count. I'm like, okay, if you say that those don't count, then let me remind you then that you are discounting the careers of the 8 Hall of Famers on those teams, included among them Otto Graham and Dante Lavelli and Max Speedy and Leroy Kelly and Frank Gatsky and Lou Groza and the coach, Paul Brown, one of the fathers, one of the legends of the NFL and the founder of two franchises, the Cleveland Browns and the Cincinnati Bengals. I love how Bengals fans are trying to clap back at me yesterday on the socials about a championship for the Browns before the Super Bowl, and they were knocking the accomplishments of that team. I'm like, wait a minute. You realize he's the founding father of your franchise, and at the same time, the family still owns and runs and operates that franchise today. Just so you know, you clown. So that's going to do it. That's Sam Betesh. I'm Andrew Siciliano. I'm going to go hop in the shower. And right now, I'm not wearing pants. And this has been another edition of Thinking Out Loud, a Super Bowl edition. Sam, good luck to your Eagles.
And we rented the movie theater, by the way. I can't imagine that's a great idea. But inviting everyone to watch me melt down during one of those games.
Bad idea. Bad idea. Not that I don't think you should spend it with family. Just, yeah. You wear your green socks, okay? For Sam, I'm Andrew. So long, everybody.